Welcome. Hello, everyone. My name is Sharon Tapper. I'm the Executive Director of the Music Managers Forum US, the MMF-US. It's great to see so many of you here today. If you are new to MMF-US, welcome. If you've attended or participated in any of our events or activities before, welcome back. If you are less familiar with our organization, let me give you some background on who we are. So we were established in 1993, and we are the leading trade association for artist managers and self-managed artists in the US. We endeavor to service the needs of our managers and their artists to provide information, resources in the form of webinars like today's, networking opportunities that are in the form of our music manager summits, and regular meetup happy hour events that take place nationwide. We also do a lot of work on advocacy on behalf of managers, self-managed artists in the community that supports them. We are a registered 501c6 non-for-profit organization that relies on the support of members and the generosity of sponsors to provide our programming. If you aren't already a member of the MMF-US, please consider becoming one by going to mmfus.com and clicking on the join button. And if you want to stay informed of our events as they're announced, simply sign up for our newsletter on our website and follow us on our social media channels and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which once edited, this webinar will appear there, so you can watch it at your convenience. We are also part of a larger global network, which is called the International Music Managers Forum, the IMMF. That represents managers or MMFs in 65 countries around the world, including Europe, Latin America, Asia, Africa, Australia, New Zealand, some incredible countries, which enables us to connect with artist managers across various business opportunities globally via this network. The reason that we're here, please join me in welcoming Bandzoogle's Chief Relationship Officer, Dave Cole, and artist and Bandzoogle member, Adam Ezra, who are here today to talk about how Bandzoogle's direct-to-fan tools for musicians and how that engagement has enabled them to generate $100 million in commission-free sales. Dave.
Thank you, Sharon. Appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me. I'm glad we were able to do this, and thank you everyone for being here and taking the time to participate. Adam's going to join us soon. Adam Ezra is a very interesting person, artist, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation. He's actually just finished sound check, and he's going to do this webinar before, pre-show dinner. He's on tour right now. So we'll talk to Adam soon. I'm going to start off by just, for anyone who doesn't know a lot about Bandzoogle, I'm going to tell you all about Bandzoogle and some of the data that we gleaned from the $100 million milestone that Sharon alluded to there. So I'm just going to share my screen here. Okay, so Bandzoogle. What is Bandzoogle? It is an all-in-one website and direct-to-fan platform. Musicians can build a website for their music, professional website, and it has built-in e-commerce, so you can sell music, merch, tickets. All of it's commission-free. Bandzoogle does not take any cut of sales. We power currently over 60,000 websites for musicians and bands around the world. The company was actually founded in 2003 by a musician, Chris Vinson. I'm up in Montreal, Canada. The company's based in Canada, now in Ottawa. It used to be based here in Montreal. And it was founded in 2003 kind of by accident, because Chris, the founder of Bandzoogle, was a musician in a very popular rock band up here in Montreal that I actually knew coming up through the music scene here. And he was also a web designer, and they had a very popular website where they had like a fan forum where they engaged with their fans. And so the record label they were signed to, which was Donald K. Donald's record label, if anyone knows that name, kind of a Canadian music industry legend, Donkey Donald hired Chris to build all the websites for all the bands that were signed to his labels. And he did that and quickly figured out that everyone needed updates constantly, new bio, new photos, new tour dates, all that stuff. So he built a control panel and gave everyone a login and said, leave me alone, do your own updates, I'm too busy. And lo and behold, everyone left him alone and they were able to update their own websites. Bandzoogle was kind of founded then. In 2003, other website platforms, like generic website platforms like WordPress and Squarespace, were also getting started. Like none of these platforms knew about each other. So Bandzoogle's been around for as long as those. Like I said, it's currently based in Ottawa, Canada. We're a 100% remote company, always have been. And we've been bootstrapped from day one. So we took a different path as a company. We've never taken any venture capitalist funds. We never had any angel investors. There's no board of directors that we answer to. We're kind of a lean, bootstrapped platform and company, and have been for nearly 20 years now. We're going to celebrate 20 years in the fall. Our CEO, Stacey Bedford, was actually the very first support tech hired at Bandzoogle, and she became CEO in 2018. And through her leadership, she's really taken the company beyond website building and to become an all-in-one direct-to-fan platform for musicians. And I'll talk a little bit about those features in a minute. In 2022, she was named a Billboard Indie Power Player, as well as a Billboard International Power Player. So we're really thrilled about that. I'm going to run through a bunch of the features that Bandzoogle has included. There are more than this. And if you have any questions, there'll be a few minutes to ask questions about Bandzoogle before we bring Adam on. But it's an all-in-one platform. So you get a domain name included, you get hosting included. The domain name is your own custom domain name. It's not, it's not a page on our platform. It's most fans visiting a Bandzoogle member's website don't know it's powered by Bandzoogle. We're running in the background, just powering artist professional websites. Of course, being a music website platform for musicians, we have built-in music players where you can stream music, offer free downloads in exchange for email addresses, sell music commission free. You can set the price, you can make it pay what you want, you can add lyrics to each track. We support various audio file forms. You can do album pre-orders, and we do SoundScan reporting daily for North American sales. Calendar feature, you can of course list your shows, but you can also sell tickets commission free to live shows and also live streams. The live stream functionality, the selling tickets to live stream functionality was added, of course, during the pandemic. We added a bunch of features to help musicians through that phase where they were kind of stuck at home. Mailing list is built in, so you can collect emails through your Bandzoogle website. You can send out professional email newsletters. You get detailed reports on those sends. You can easily import or export lists. It's important to keep in mind that artists own that list. Like we don't own, just like their domain name and all their content, we don't own any of that. And that's extremely powerful when it comes to emails. So if you're using MailChimp, you can import that list of Bandzoogle. You can export it from Bandzoogle and use a different service if you want. We have an HTML feature where you can embed, pretty much any feature functionality that you want on the website. If you're using a different service, that's totally fine. Commission-free store, so you can sell physical merch, digital merch, so CDs, vinyl, cassettes. We added cassettes as a category a few years ago due to popular demand, as we're all seeing that cassettes are kind of making a mini comeback. Of course, t-shirts and other merch. You can bundle things together. You can offer gift cards. Like I mentioned, you can sell digital files, so sheet music, videos, lessons, that kind of thing. You can offer discount codes. We do automatic inventory tracking on physical merch as well. A couple of years ago, we added print-on-demand functionality, so we partnered with Printful. We have an integration with Printful, so you can sell t-shirts and merch directly to fans through Printful. There's no great thing about this for musicians is there's no inventory to store. You don't have to buy a bunch of merch and t-shirts. Any of us who have been musicians or around musicians have probably had a box of t-shirts sitting in the garage or closet for a while that, odd sizes, things like that. With print on demand, you only pay for the items that are purchased by your fans. Our integration, it seamlessly matches to whatever the artist design is. for their website. Tip jar is something we added during the pandemic. Commission-free donations that we connect through PayPal or Stripe, which we do for all of our e-commerce features. You can run crowdfunding campaigns through Bandzoogle. So you can take pre-orders, again, bundling, reporting sales to SoundScan, which is important for some artists. You can obviously offer whatever you'd like through the store feature, take donations, and keep fans updated with our built-in communication tools. We've had artists raise tens of thousands of dollars of crowdfunding campaigns through their own websites, which is really awesome. You can also run kind of online fan clubs. So you can run fan subscriptions through Bandzoogle. So you don't have to create an account on another platform. You can drive everyone to your own website that you own and control, where it's commission free. So you can add any kind of content to gated pages where fans subscribe to get access to that content, exclusive live streams, discounts, that kind of thing. You get detailed data on subscribers and sales. We have, during the pandemic, I would say there was a renewed interest in this model, and a lot of our members started using it. And it was really awesome to see the creativity involved in some of the offerings and rewards they were giving to their fans. And I mean, we were seeing artists who were, raising anywhere from couple hundred bucks a month through thousands of dollars a month through fan subscriptions. And what's great now is the world has opened back up, obviously. And those artists, after having created those connections with those fans through these fan clubs, have that revenue stream, and then they're back on the road connecting with fans and kind of bridging the two with exclusive things behind the scenes at shows and tours and that kind of thing. So it's really awesome to see. This isn't the title of the webinar, but our members recently reached a really important milestone, which is over 100 million in commission-free sales of music merch, tickets, subscriptions, all that kind of thing. I'm going to get into the data in more detail in a minute, but we're really proud of the fact that we've never taken a cut of sales. Every time we make an announcement about a milestone like this, even our own members are like, why don't you take a cut of sales? We never have, never will. We're, it's a monthly subscription for Bandzoogle. You can pay for an annual or monthly subscription. There's 3 different plans. So we're a monthly subscription, and that's the only revenue that we make, and we're totally happy with that. And we're super thrilled that all the money generated by artists goes straight from the fans to them. On the design side of things, I mean, there are dozens and dozens of mobile ready templates that out of the box look amazing. Our lead designer, Josh, creates these beautiful templates with font pairings and colors, and you can use those, or you can just completely customize it to match your brand. You can start with a completely blank template as well. So it's really super customizable. It's all point and click. There's like a color picker, so you can save up to a dozen different colors to apply throughout your site. Probably wouldn't recommend that unless you're doing like children's music or something like that. But you could, for artists, we often tell them like, pick some colors off your album cover or your logo, what have you, and then you can save those in this color picker and then apply it throughout your site, and you're going to have a nice cohesively branded website. We add preset pages all the time, and these preset pages are templates for content just to help put into context different features and different things that you can do with Bandzoogle. And so some examples of these preset pages would be EPKs. It's a very popular feature that we have included. The nice thing about EPKs through Bandzoogle is that it's your custom domain name. There's different templates for like a general EPK, if you're looking to book shows, if you're looking to get interviews and reviews from media, if you're doing some radio outreach or podcast outreach or reaching out to playlisters, we have different templates for all those different needs and the different features that should be included on those. So, and of course you can move those around and customize them, or just start with a blank page, totally up to the artist or the person managing the site. We have built-in smart links, super easy to create. Again, instead of using an outside service for smart links, the smart links powered through Bandzoogle is through your own websites, your own custom domain name. So again, you're driving fans to your website, collecting that data that you own and control, which is super important. And with our smart links feature, of course, we put selling music directly through your website to your fans, front and center. And of course, you can link out to all the other platforms that you want, depending on your goals, and you get detailed data and reporting on those smart link pages. The other thing that's included in Bandzoogle is landing pages for musicians. So they're easy to set up. with all of our different design tools. Again, it's your custom domain name, and you can use this for marketing campaigns. If you're, selling tickets to a show and you're going to be running Instagram ads, let's say, for example, you can create a landing page that doesn't have all the branding from your website, that has like one call to action with like a buy now, and then you can run ad campaigns and send out that link. And then with our page level data reporting, you can see the obviously the detailed data, the conversions that happen on that page, so you can really track the success of your campaigns. So yeah, so we have a reports dashboard that, we pull stuff in from Google Analytics, we apply our own data, so kind of get the best of both. Our own data includes things like streams and plays and sales and your fans and mailing list signups and all that fun stuff, plus visitors, links, all that kind of data that comes in from Google Analytics. We play nice with others. Like we're a website platform at the base of things, and we know that artists are using other tools out there to promote their music and reach fans and connect with their fans. And so while we do have a lot of features already built in, we do integrate with a lot of other services just to make sure that it makes it easy for our members to integrate those platforms into their websites. So we have integrations with Bandcamp and SoundCloud and YouTube, Gig Salad, Airbit. There's a ton of integrations. The Bandcamp one might be the most popular of the ones I just mentioned, especially with indie labels, if they already have all their artists selling their music through Bandcamp, which is great. We love Bandcamp. I mean, we have our own built-in store and music selling tools, but with Bandcamp, it's free. They take a commission, of course, but it's a free service. So it's a completely different business model, which is totally fine. But there's this music discovery aspect of Bandcamp, of course, that we don't have. We're powering the artist's individual website. We don't have a storefront with all of the Bandzoogle members. Bandcamp is like the best online record store that exists. So, we encourage our artists to be on Bandcamp, as well as have their music on their website, of course. And so for some artists, or especially indie labels who already have all their stuff on Bandcamp and want to keep everything central there, it's super easy to, with a link to your album, EPs, whatever, you add that with our Bandcamp integration, and it automatically ports everything in, skins it to match your design. Even if you change templates, change colors, it will change to match your design. So it just looks like it's been designed into your website, but the streams and sales, you're taking to Bandcamp. The streams happen on the site, but you're taking to Bandcamp to complete any sales. So that's an example of one of our integrations. We have, like I mentioned, a lot of record labels, managers using Bandzoogle for managing various artists, and you can actually contact our support team to connect different accounts to each other, so that you have one login, and then there's a drop-down menu, and you can manage a whole bunch of websites through one login, just to make your life a little easier. Arguably our best feature out of everything I just mentioned is our support team, who are an award-winning support team. They've won Stevie Awards 2 years in a row, along companies like MailChimp, much larger companies. Again, we are a bunch of current or former musicians at Bandzoogle. Most of our support team are musicians. I remember about 4 years ago, let's say, half our support team was on tour supporting their latest albums. And because we're remote, they could do their shift during the day and gig at night. So it's awesome. That's who you're talking to when, you're talking to our support team. They're super knowledgeable. They're musicians themselves. They're available 7 days a week by email and live chat. For anyone who's interested in trying Bandzoogle, you could try it free for 30 days. We created a promo code for Music Managers Forum US members or friends. Use the promo code MMF-US and you get 15% off the first year. But you can try it free for 30 days, try the templates, talk to our support team, get to know the platform, ask questions, and we're pretty confident that you're going to love it. So our members just crossed 100 million in commission-free sales, which I've mentioned a few times now. That's everything: digital music, CDs, vinyl, fan subscriptions, virtual tips, all that stuff. To put this in the context a little bit, we launched our first e-commerce feature in 2006. So that was an MP3 download feature, so you could sell your tracks for $1 and your albums for $10 or whatever the case may be. Like I mentioned, we've never taken a cut of sales. So that $100 million figure is since 2006, but over half of that $100 million in sales has been generated in the last 5 years alone. So $52.7 million, which is incredible. And someone asked me in an interview, like, well, doesn't that just mean Bandzoogle's grown a lot in the 5 years? I mean, we're a growing company. After 19 years, we grow every year, but we didn't grow that much. We attribute this to adding more tools for our members to use to monetize their websites and reach their fans directly. And also thanks to organizations like MMF and others who are educating managers and artists on going direct to fan and marketing directly to fan and selling direct to fan. And musicians are just more comfortable and savvy with doing that, it seems. So we've definitely seen a surge in direct to fan sales through our platform in the last 5 years. To put this number into context further, digital music represents about 15%. Tickets are about 6%. Tips donations are 3%. That's a very new feature, though. Same thing with fan subscriptions. Fan subscriptions is a very niche feature, and it's not for every artist or every band, but it represents about 1% of that 100 million figure. But the big ticket item is merch. Merch sales represent 75% of that total 100 million, so $75 million in merch. And merch was also the top income generator for over 70% of the top 50 sellers on Bandzoogle last year. So what became clear in looking at this data was that musicians really need a merch strategy because fans want to support. And there's streaming, which is fine, and there's music discovery through that. Not as many musicians are selling digital downloads. So it's really like, how can fans tangibly help an artist keep doing what they're doing? And merch is a great way to do that. So it became very clear that all musicians should be selling merch through their websites. It's super easy with a print-on-demand service like Printful, where there's no upfront cost on that. So, this ties into our special guest for this webinar because Adam Ezra has an incredible merch strategy, which we'll get into. But this is someone who has performed hundreds of shows for a year for decades without any mainstream radio or label support. He's someone who directly engages his fans through his website and has achieved incredible sales, one of our top sellers several years in a row through Bandzoogle. During the pandemic, what was super interesting is for an artist who was used to pounding the pavement and playing hundreds of shows a year, all of a sudden that's taken away from you. He immediately pivoted and did 500 nights in a row of live streaming, reaching over 15 million cumulative viewers, which is incredible. And so he's got a bit of an unorthodox approach to live shows and touring, which I'm excited to talk to him about. He's a super savvy, bright, nice human being, and we're thrilled that he uses Bandzoogle for his career. So I'm going to stop sharing here, and we'll bring Adam on to have a little chat.
Hi, can you hear me?
Can hear you and see you. How are you, sir? Where are you? You're on tour right now.
I am in a good mood today. First of all, I'm a Boston guy, and I'm down in Florida. This is a good time to be touring down in Florida if you're a Boston guy. But also, we're playing. We just finished sound check at the Funky Biscuit in Boca Raton. I'm super happy because we have 125 pre-sales, which should give you all a little idea of the scale of artists that we are. But being so far away from Boston and having people, we just put this gig up a couple weeks ago, and it's now standing room only in this little club. And that makes me super excited. So you're talking to an artist where this is the fight that I'm engaged in all the time, opening up markets, hitting the road, and playing wherever we can play.
That's awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about how your career kind of operates. So like, I know you have a team that works with you, and they're awesome to deal with. Like, are you self-managed? Do you have an official manager? Is it kind of a group effort? Like, how does that work for the Adam Ezra team?
Right. It's actually super. We're in a really interesting time right now, and I'll start with the management side of things, actually, because this is a management forum. We have been working with a management company called Brian Doyle Entertainment for a number of years. Really wonderful people. Brian Doyle and team are really focusing on club. They've got some amazing clubs right now, and I am a developing artist, and I decided a couple years ago that, right, like, I feel like I need a manager that is so focused on being our champion out there. And so I've been working on a transition that is so hard for artists, right? If you want to make a change, there's this really shitty dynamic where you have to like sneak and find another manager, because not having representation is super scary. So that's not how I like to roll. So I've talked to Brian. I have my day person at the company on retainer right now, actually helping us transition to whatever the next chapter is going to be. And so that's where we are on the management side. We've got a booking agent. Yep. We've got a booking agent, but because we do so much non-traditional direct-to-fan work these days, I have actually hired a full-time administrator who was an executive assistant. She took a 60% pay cut to come and work for me full-time, but she is doing a ton of work with us in a lot of our non-traditional touring, which, Dave, you know a lot. You know me well, so I'm guessing you're going to ask me about that.
Yes.
But we have some people that are focused on helping us with digital marketing and social media, but that's really my team. Me and my bandies out on the road. Sometimes we'll be out with the tour manager and sound engineer, but that's it.
Nice. That's super interesting. So I'm curious, because you've been at this for a while now, and you didn't go like the traditional route in the industry and kind of the DIY thing and pounding the pavement. And I made a documentary film about artists like you many years in a past life, and about that experience. So I'm super curious to hear from you, someone who's been doing it. You know, what were some of the advantages to doing that, like operating kind of outside the mainstream of the industry, and what were some of the challenges to that?
Yeah, and we won't talk past tense, we'll talk present tense, because I'm still very much feeling like I am outside. We have a lot of great momentum, and we're doing really well these days, which makes me excited, but I still very much feel like an outsider within the music industry. And the biggest challenge is that we have to generate our own opportunities. We don't have a lot of opportunities to get in front of soft ticket audiences. In other words, the 125 people that are coming out tonight, they bought tickets to come and see us, and they wouldn't be coming out otherwise. And I feel like the non-indie DIY artists, they have champions out there that are like, we ain't getting invited to play at Coachella, let me tell you. And we would love those opportunities, but that is not something that's available to small scale grassroots artists like myself. Now, on the flip side, everything that I do, everything that we do, I'm going to use we, everything we do, we own. And I don't mean, I'm not talking about money, and I'm not talking about the band. I'm talking about me and my fan community. Everything that we do, every new person, every new club, and every new market, every new milestone, we all take ownership in it. And that's the magic of being underground with your community, is that there becomes this movement that we get to create ourselves. We have crazy ideas about a non-traditional event or a show. or a trip that we want to take, sure, let's try it, right? And we because it's just us. It's just us and our fans, and we figure it out together as we go. That's a really good feeling, and it's something I'm super proud of.
Nice. Yeah, that's incredible. So it seems to be super important for you and your bandmates and your team. And so kind of a two-part question here. Like, it seems that A, performing live is kind of pivotal to what you do, and B, connecting directly with your fans seems to be very important. Has that always been the case, and why? Why have you taken that approach?
I've taken that approach because it was the only approach offered to me. And by offered, I mean it was the only approach I knew how to claw at. From the very beginning, I couldn't get a gig in Boston where I was growing up. And so I went to the dirtiest, nastiest, emptiest bar in Boston I could. And I asked the owner if we could play in the corner. And we would play there on Friday nights. And then there was a line. And then we got invited to dirty, nasty bars outside of Boston. For years, we were playing 5 hours a night in any place that would hire us. And we were going one person at a time. And my mantra has always been, and for those of you that are just meeting me, which I'm guessing is pretty much all of you, I've been playing music for about 20 years. And my mantra has always been, when in doubt, play. And we have grown arithmetically, steady, right? For 20 years, sometimes one fan at a time, sometimes one gig at a time. And so playing live has been totally central. In fact, maybe to a fault. Right now, I'm in a place where my business is we're grossing about $500,000 a year, but it is very it is not that I feel like it's not diversified enough. It's very skewed towards play, and so hopefully over the next chapters, my business can diversify in the way that we're creating profit through our music.
Yeah, interesting. So then I guess for your operation, when the pandemic hit, I mean, that comes to a screeching halt, and
so terrifying.
So
God.
You decided to take the show online literally every single night through your own bout with COVID, through your own wedding. You must have the most understanding partner.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
So tell me about that. Why did you come to that decision of just, well, then we're going to go online every night? Like, was it just because that was the only option? It was just like,
it's easy in hindsight, right? And
right.
I wish I could be like, I wish I could be like, oh, so I had this vision, Dave. The world stopped and I knew what we had to do. I didn't. I had just canceled. Speaking of Florida, the first night we canceled was March 13th, 2020. And I was supposed to open up Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes, one of my favorite bands in the world, down in Clearwater, Florida. I was going to fly down there to open up for them solo. And I canceled because I just felt like there were going to be 800 people in a theater, and some of those people were going to die. And I didn't know, like all of us, I didn't know. I thought this was a pandemic that was going to clear up in a couple weeks. I don't know, but I was home on a Friday night for the first time that I could remember in a long time, and I just decided to live stream, not with any kind of plan in mind, but just to feel a little less scared and a little less alone. And a whole bunch of people joined me, and at the end of it, I felt a little less scared and a little less alone. And I said, I'll come back tomorrow if you come back tomorrow. And the next day, hundreds more people showed up. And the next day, hundreds more. We started calling it the Gathering Series. And every night at 7 p.m., no matter what I was doing, no matter where I was, the rule was we gathered. And it was less about, it became not a format for me to perform at a screen every single night, but it actually became a place where the community could come together and be grounded every single night, because there was some consistency and there was some togetherness, and that saved me. through the pandemic. And of course, the result of that also is, I mean, I was very close with my fans already, but my life became kind of a reality show, and right. And so fans have been with me through my wedding, through the birth of my daughter, through the death of my father, through hard nights, through inspiring euphoric moments, through days when I couldn't get a good signal and I had to I was like driving around during, like, trying to get the right, I once parked on a median strip so that I could live stream at 7 o'clock because it was the only place I could get cell service. So anyways, it ended up solidifying our community so powerfully that nowadays, as the world begins to open up, I feel like, man, we've got all this beautiful energy and community going for us. And it makes me really excited about the next chapter.
That's incredible. I mean, that's amazing. It like you said, it helped you, but I'm sure it helped a lot of your fans feel grounded and together and not alone. So, I mean, that's amazing. And so you're talking about now, like, things have opened up and, you know, this community came together and was even closer during that time. So what is your approach to touring now, and has it changed because of that live streaming? Do you still incorporate any of that at all, or are you back to strictly in person?
It has totally changed.
Okay.
The way that I think about connection with fans, and in part, and those of you listening, you should know I ain't on the payroll. I'm gonna say some nice things about Dave and his company, but it's only because I really do mean them. But working through Bandzoogle has changed our ability to operate as an indie band, and so we're live streaming, and during the COVID time, before vaccines, we were like, you know what? This community is so tight and so inspired and so amazing. There's got to be a way that we can share live music together still. And so we created what we called, the series was called the Gathering Series. We started talking about live gatherings. And what we did was we created an application process. Bands around the country could apply to be hosts for live gatherings. And what they would do is they would send an application in, and they'd say, we want to host, and they'd have to kind of fill it out and say why they wanted to host. But they also had to give dimensions of their backyard, like Google Earth pictures. We created an algorithm through which we would sell pods that had different barrier spaces based on the different size number of people in the pod. So we'd never oversell a backyard. And we played over 100 shows with nobody getting sick. And we sold all of those tickets through the website. And as the world started opening up again, we said, man, we have all these gatherers online. We got to figure out a way to get them together in some kind of an epic way. People had been with me every night for 500 nights. So we started doing 3-day trips. And so, you know, we just came back from, we rented out an entire resort in Vermont for 3 days. And we had our gatherers come out for 3 whole days, just hanging out and sharing music and loving on each other. And we did that all through ourselves. We created pages for the trips. We created ticket links for the trips. And so it's one of the reasons that I have a full-time administrator right now. So now our agency is starting to throw punches again, and we're doing traditional touring, but we're still gathering twice a week online. And in between gatherings, we just did an announcement where fans could apply for live gathering, and we're using the live gatherings as routers. For those of you who have tried to plan a national tour, you know what a shit show it is to try and book shows on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays, right? But if we're in our profitable markets on Fridays and Saturdays, right, and our tier 2 markets on Thursdays and Sundays, right, we can book live gatherings in backyards on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever we need to, and we can fill in the gaps. And that has been super, super fun. to be able to incorporate that. So we never are just sitting in a hotel room on tour without a gig to play.
Without a gig to play. That's A, it's really smart, but B, it's such a great way to engage those fans and that community, you know, while you're touring. It's funny that, that resort thing, like, it's funny because this person, but Brian Buchanan, Enter the Haggis, is another Bandzoogle member, and they just did a Camp Haggis in Vermont. And
but you know why they did that, right, Dave? Brian called me, and I'm like, you have to call this resort, and this is how we did it. He did a session with our admin person.
Oh, that's amazing.
And they did their trip the week after our trip at the same resort.
That's funny. That's funny because they were in our top sellers from 2022. You know, there's Adam Ezra. We have a few labels that have large rosters of artists. You know, Adam Ezra, and then Camp Haggis was one of the top because they sold tickets to the camping trip. They sold merch that's branded for the trip itself. So that Enter the Haggis has been a longtime Bandzoogle member and used to take their fans to Ireland every year or every couple of years and like fill a bus. The venues were always packed because they literally brought the fans with them for every show. So it's kind of a similar concept.
They get it. Totally.
They totally get it
as
well. So you were talking a little bit, you know, how you use the website, and I think even for tonight's show where you are, I think you use the landing page with a ticket link to buy tickets through Bandzoogle.
So right now, and this started so we felt like the last 2 years, and I don't know if you managers have noticed this. I know a lot of agencies and artists have noticed this, but especially for small venues, it has been sluggish to get back the ticket sales to get back to where they were. We're hearing numbers from different agencies that their tickets are down 50%. We're hearing numbers from venues, small venues that are, you all know this, I'm sure, that are closing all the time right now because their ticket sales are down 30 to 50%. And so we were lucky because our tickets, while from the Gathering series, they didn't spike, but they were staying. Like when we were starting to go back on tour, we were selling tickets again, but we could tell they were sluggish. Ticket sales were not popping until the week of the show because people didn't know if they were going to be sick. People didn't plan far in advance. At least that's what we found. And so with my marketing team, what I would do is I create an invite, a video for every single show. And I say, you know, hey friends, we're going to be in Boca Raton on February 16th on Thursday. We haven't been down here in forever. You should come and hang with us. And we geo-target that to our fans in Florida. And we have a link to a landing page that we create from Bandzoogle, and that's where they can buy. And we found that really helped our ticket sales. Now, starting in December, this last December, tickets started jumping just like that for the very first time. Like we are now, and every place that we're playing, at least so far, knock on something, we're 30%, 40% higher than what our ticket sales were before the pandemic. And that is a super exciting place for us to be right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we've got about 10 minutes left. And I do want people to have an opportunity to ask you some questions, but I want to end off with this because you talked about your business and how you're looking to diversify things maybe going forward. And but I know, so it's very heavily skewed on live, obviously, but you also have like, where does merch fit in? Because your merch store, I mean, you've got everything from, of course, t-shirts and hoodies and hats, which I think are print on demand, but you've got branded wine glasses and flasks and handmade leather items. And so where does merch fit into your overall game plan, and how do you come up with the ideas for the merch? Do you talk to your fans? You just to see what they're interested in?
We do all sorts of crazy stuff with merch. The craziest thing we do with merch is when we're live, when we're playing shows tonight at the show, I'm gonna tell the audience at the end, hey, I know times are hard and I'm so happy that you all are here. Come over to my table pay what you can. And if you can't afford anything, if you spend all your money on your ticket tonight, I'm so glad you're here. You help yourself to anything on that table, and it's on us. So last year, I think we generated, and this is because we just didn't play as many shows as before pandemic. We generated about, I don't know, somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000 in merch sales live, and maybe 10,000 or so through our website. But one thing that has been a huge game changer for us, thanks to you guys, is the print to order stuff. It is such a hardship for us. We need to keep changing products all the time because we are selling to a small but incredibly loyal fan base. So every new t-shirt, they want to buy the new t-shirt. So we do small print orders, and we're constantly playing the bell curve game of trying to manage sizing and all that. Print to order for us online has changed that because we don't have to worry about inventory. We don't have to worry about sending stuff out. And so we are doing print to order through Printful, through you guys, but we also have a couple other partners. We have a maker in Kentucky, a single mom that does awesome, like artistic leather stuff. And so fans can order her stuff, and then she just makes it and sends it to them. And we have another sponsor of the Gathering series called Well Told. They make those cups. So we have a whole section of products that they're making for us that they just print to order. And that's been a huge game changer for us.
That's awesome. That's exactly what I think all artists should be doing. It's just at least have a storefront with print on demand merch.
Have a storefront with print on demand merch for every fucking song you play, because why not? The only thing you have to do is design a shirt, and then it lives there. And so if you can create a process through which you're creating cool designs that are representative of you, you're giving your fans an opportunity to not only support you and not only to buy merch, but to be unique in what they're buying. Because there are some Printful items that 20 people have bought so far. So only 20 people have this shirt out in the world, and they come to a show and they're like, oh my God, like, what is that shirt? I'm like, I just got it on the website. So the fans are getting really excited about that stuff.
That's awesome. So I want to open up to questions. Everyone should absolutely check out what Adam and his bandmates are up to, adamezra.com. Check out their merch store, check out their tour. But Sharon, I wonder if there's anyone who has questions for Adam before we wrap up.
Yeah, I mean, these are less specific to Adam, but we got a couple of questions here. What type of indie artists are you aiming the platform to, i.e. DIY artists with a team or without a team, artists on the verge, a hobbyist artist also included?
Yeah, we have over 60,000 members, so they range every single genre you can think of. Everyone from, weekend warriors, garage bands, cover bands, to former major label acts that are now doing it themselves, and have built their own website selling direct to fans. So we have Grammy winners, Juno winners for Canadians, on the platform. So it's not a curated platform. Obviously, anyone can sign up. So it really runs the gamut. And, we find, these gems like Adam when looking at the data and go, hey, what's that band doing? And then you talk to them and you realize there's so many incredibly savvy, independent artists out there using the platform.
That's fantastic. We also have a question here. Can you link your Shopify to your site, or does it even make sense to do that?
Doesn't really make sense to do that, but I believe you can embed Shopify onto the website.
Okay. Adam, you really are the poster child for this. I mean, you're like the entrepreneurial spirit that makes the difference between, somebody who just loves music and actually making a living at it. So, you're just doing such an incredible job and truly inspirational just to hear your story.
Thank you.
So we really appreciate you being here and sharing this, and the fact that you embrace the fear of the pandemic and just, I know that you did it for yourself and to help you, but you reach so many people and you help them, so that's now coming back, and it's just an incredible story that
we've had to develop. We've had to develop this as an indie band, as an indie artist that have played all sorts of bizarre gigs in our time and done all sorts of bizarre things, right? One of the most magical gigs we played, we were playing at the Iron Horse in Northampton, Massachusetts, and it was a packed house, and it was an awesome night, and the power went out. And so we walked off stage, and all the fans lit lighters and cell phones, and we played a concert, and it was the most memorable show that a lot of our fans have had. And there are a million examples of that, but when crisis happens, it's also an opportunity to bring your community together and to innovate and create a special moment that has never happened before. And so thanks for being inspired by my story, Sharon. It's been really fun getting to share it.
I've just spotted another question here for you, Dave. What about artists who have existing websites, or how are they able to use Bandzoogle?
I mean, there's no easy import my entire website to Bandzoogle function, but you can talk to our support team. We have different tools where you can upload. We connect with Dropbox, we connect with Bandcamp and SoundCloud. So there's ways to quickly port things over. You do have to rebuild your design on our platform, obviously. But you can transfer your domain name. That's no problem. Our support team, you can do that during the free trial and only transfer your domain name once your new site is designed and ready to go. And then ask the support team to officially point, to help you point that domain name, and then it'll switch over. So yeah, I mean, we have obviously artists switching over every day, and you can use that 30 days free, or if you need more time, you just ask our support team. We'll give you more time. It's totally fine.
So where do people call? They want to reach out to you. Website, is there a number for them to call? How does that work?
Just go to bandzoogle.com and you can chat live with our support team or send them an email. Our policy is to respond within an hour by email. It's usually way less than that. Or you can live chat during business hours 7 days a week. So we take our CEO as our first support hire. We take support very, very, very seriously. We want to make sure our members are well taken care of and have their questions answered. So
I wish every company was as responsive as yours.
We get that a lot, yeah.
That's great. Adam, I got to say, so impressed with what you've been doing with Rally Sound and the work.
Oh,
thank you.
That's just.
We didn't get to talk much about that, but thank you.
So impressive.
Yeah,
you want to talk a little bit about that, Adam?
Yeah.
I'll just say very quickly. We started myself and this community of fans started a nonprofit organization its mission is to empower community through music. We do a lot of throughout the year. A big part of our mission is doing a little good for the world as we go. So, for instance, tonight at the Funky Biscuit, they are doing a clothing drive for a local breast cancer organization here. So a bunch of the fans that are showing up are going to be bringing clothes that this organization, it's super also indie and quirky. This organization owns a thrift store, and all the proceeds go to supporting families who are struggling through treatment. And so it's this is happening at most of our shows these days, but also we do some bigger things. For instance, we host our own festival every year that Enter the Haggis has played at multiple times, I might add. But last year, that festival, it's a free festival, and its mission is to end veteran homelessness in the Northeast. Last year, our tiny little festival was able to raise $100,000 that we donated to the New England Center and Home for Veterans. And so also something that I'm super proud of, and I can only take partial credit for, because it really is this community of fans that has rallied together to create something that is just bigger than us.
It's just impressive, everything that you're doing. So we're truly grateful for being here to share this, and I hope we get to connect with you further. This is, you're just very inspiring.
Anytime.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Unless there are any other questions, I don't want to hold you up. I know you got a show to play. I'm just gonna wrap this up.
I do.
So thank you both so very much. Really appreciate you being here, sharing a wealth of experience and knowledge, and we couldn't be more grateful to you both for taking the time to be here out of your busy schedules. And also thank you to the folks who were here, watching this, and anybody watching us on YouTube, you're welcome. Remember to like and subscribe to MMF-US, to follow all of our activities, and rewatch any part of this on our YouTube channel, and a myriad of other subjects we've covered in the past. It's there, it's free. Most of what we do is free. So summits, meetups, webinars, all of this is free. And this is a wrap for today. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you all in the near future, and hopefully at one of Adam's shows.